had the choice now either to disbelieve in Ahmed Hassan and disbelieve in the will of the Prophet Muhammad, or I had to hold on tight to the appointments of the Prophet, which were those 12 Imams, and hold on tight to the appointment then of Ahmed Hassan, since he was claiming to be Ahmed in the will, and I'd already accepted this idea. But if I was going to accept that, then I also had to accept this appointment that I had now, because nobody had claimed to be Abdullah in the will except for me. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الإمام المهديين وسلم تسليما. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brother Nima.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It's good to have you here.
Alhamdulillah, it's a pleasure to be here.
So today in this very special episode, I wanted to take the time to explain what our beliefs are, to explain to the viewers what our call is, and to introduce myself and make clear all those things that perhaps is not clear or hasn't been clear for all of our viewers. Basically, this channel was established in order to propagate a message and to call people towards Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam. And in order to explain who we are, we have to explain what our beliefs are. We're called the Ahmadi religion of peace and light. That was a name that was given to our organization when it was established. And it was a name and is a name that we use to identify ourselves and distinguish us from all other sects of Islam and Christianity and Judaism and every other religion on the planet, much in the same way that the schools of thought that are in Sunni Islam, for example, they'll call themselves Hanbali or Hanafi or Shafi'i or Malki, or the Shia Muslims, they call themselves Twelvers or Jafari Shias or Ismaili Shias. They do so in order to distinguish themselves from the people that don't share their same belief or all of their same beliefs. But we don't see ourselves as a new religion. We see ourselves as a continuation of the oldest religion and the only people on the planet that are practicing God's original religion. We believe that, and it's the most important belief of ours, we believe that in the very beginning, when you look at Genesis in the Hebrew Bible, when you look at the story of Adam in Christianity, or in Islam, in the Quranic narrative and that which was given to us in the narrations of Muhammad and the family of Muhammad, we believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides that he's going to appoint a vicegerent, a ruler, a representative of his, a messenger from him in the land. And he picks Adam, and he commands all of the angels to prostrate to him after he blows in him from his spirit. And we find that all of the angels, they prostrate with the exception of Iblis and Iblis's children. He doesn't prostrate. He refuses to. He's arrogant. And we see this story as a kind of highlighting and demonstrating for all mankind the idea that it is God and only God who appoints the ruler. And God appoints in every day and age a door, a representative, a messenger, a guide for creation whereby this guide can rule people as a king and ensure that peace and prosperity engulfs the planet and that there's no oppression and tyranny. And at the same time, this guide explains, he has the authority to guide people to God and explain to the people God's true religion, and he's able to discern that which is true from that which is false. We believe that Imam al-Mahdi, peace and blessings be upon him, is the Imam of this time. And he is the Adam of this time. And what Imam al-Mahdi does is that he is able to make God's word the higher. And God's word is the Caliph of Allah. And so Imam al-Mahdi manages for the first time since the creation of Adam until now to exert authority over the Muslim nation, and eventually, because of his justice, he actually exerts authority over the whole earth, because the people, they want to be a part of his divine just state and the peace and prosperity that he spreads amongst the nations. And so, who is Imam al-Mahdi for us? Imam al-Mahdi is Muhammad ibn al-Hasan al-Askari. He is the son of al-Hasan al-Askari. He is the 12th successor to the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. We believe that he was born over 1,000 years ago, and he went into an absence due to the fact that there was consistent oppression against the family of Muhammad. We believe that he sent messengers in every day and age. During his entire period of absence, there were people that would be sent from him and to attempt to guide humanity towards the supremacy or belief in the authority of God, but they were unsuccessful until the promised day, which is in this day, an age where Imam al-Mahdi finally succeeds in gaining authority over the devil and ousting him from his seat. And so Imam Muhammad ibn Hasan al-Askari alayhi salam, he's the 12th Imam. He is Imam Mahdi, and he is the same Imam that the 12 Shia Muslims believe in as being the Imam of the time. Okay? And we believe that the du'as and the narrations of the Ahlul Bayt, there's many of them that indicate that there is a distinction between him and between the character of the Qa'im. There's a dua where the Shia recite all the time, and it gives peace and blessings upon each one of the Imams. And then after sending peace and blessings or making dua for the 12th Imam, and then it says, and then please send your peace and blessings upon the promised riser, the Qa'im. So we know that these are different individuals. And we know also from the narrations that the Imam al-Mahdi, before he appears or rises, so to speak, what we have is we have characters that come and they act as kind of forerunners, messengers, people that paved the way for him. Even some narrations indicate that the 12th Imam does not spill a drop of blood, but rather a lot of the wars that take place and the struggles that happen, they happen at the hands of people that are acting as forerunners for him. And at the same time, after his passing, it is these forerunners who are alive and they pave the way for him. They end up being his successors after that. This is now so we agree with 12 Shias on all of that. And the 12 Shias, they also believe that after Imam al-Mahdi, there will be a people from his Shia that will rule after them. And if you ask their scholars, they also believe that there is a title for these successors of the 12th Imam, and that they're called Mahdis, because the narrations of the Ahl Bayt say that after the 12th Imam, there's a series of Mahdis. They are the followers of Imam al-Mahdi. They are people who are rightly guided vicegerents of Imam al-Mahdi and that rule his state after him. And the point of disagreement that we have with them doesn't even come in the idea of the will, and that there is because it's in their books that the Prophet Muhammad left this will in which he appoints 12 imams, and then he appoints after that 12 Mahdis. But our disagreement comes in the identity, like identifying these individuals that are mentioned in the will. We believe that the will that's in the books of the Muslims is the apparent will which is mentioned in the hadith. And the apparent will is the will that is promised on the tongues of the imams that the qa'im or the companion of the matter would use as an evidence against the people. See, we have these narrations that state that the Prophet was trying to write a will. He was prevented from it on Thursday, and we spoke about that before, and that he eventually wrote it. And this will names in there all of his successors until the time of Imam al-Mahdi, and then it names in there the first three individuals who are appearing, and the first three who are successors and forerunners to the 12th Imam. And that is Ahmad and Abdullah and al-Mahdi. These are the names of the first three Mahdis. We believe that the will is a protection against misguidance, because when the Prophet wrote it, he said, let me write something for you that if you were to hold on to it, you will never go astray.
What is that going to be except for
we believe that this is a divine promise, Nima, that anybody who holds on to somebody who uses the will as a claim, that they can never be misguided, or else what is the point of holding on to the will if false claimants can claim it? And so we believe that anybody who claims the will is a true claimant. And this will, nobody claimed it since the time of the passing of the Prophet Muhammad until this day, except for its rightful claimants, which were those 12 Imams. And nobody claimed to be one of those three Mahdis until this very day and age. Ahmad al-Hassan, he came forward first in 1999, and he appeared in Iraq, and he claimed that he was Ahmad, who was mentioned in the will of the Prophet Muhammad. He gave a series of sermons that were recorded, and they're still available today that everybody can hear. It's on YouTube, in which he narrates that he had met the 12th Imam. The 12th Imam had appeared to him in the dream, and then instructed him to go meet him in this physical world. And it's the middle of the night, and Imam Ahmad al-Hassan, he goes to the place where he was instructed in the dream to meet Imam al-Mahdi, and he finds the 12th Imam there, and the 12th Imam informs him, wakes him up, informs him of his mission, of his job, of who he is, tells him that he is Ahmad that's in the will, instructs him to go forward and to preach to the people and call them back to the supremacy of God, and let them know that he is a messenger from Imam al-Mahdi. And that's exactly what Ahmad al-Hassan does. And he fulfills these criteria by which we're able to distinguish false claimants from true claimants. He comes with a letter of appointment from God, this will. He also demonstrates extraordinary knowledge. And at the same time, he's the only person who is raising the banner which was prophesied to be raised by the Mahdi or the successors of the Mahdi, and that's this banner that's written in the middle of it. Allegiances to God, and so he fulfills the criteria. Everybody else, every other scholar on the face of the planet at the time were calling their followers towards democracy, towards electing the ruler. Nobody was talking about this concept of, it was as if people had forgotten about it. It became this hidden matter, and he woke people up to it, that God becomes very offended by any attempt to appoint a ruler that is not from him, and anybody who follows and accepts or elects or chooses or supports a ruler that is not from him, they are responsible for all of the sins and all of the actions and all of the tyranny that happens as a result of the election of this person. Their hands become stained with the blood that his hands is stained with. And he just said that, we have to follow this banner. We have to pledge allegiance to Imam al-Mahdi, alayhi salam. And when we do pledge allegiance, when there's only 313 sincere individuals that pledge allegiance to the 12th Imam, that he would appear publicly. And when there's 10,000 on top of that, that pledge allegiance to the Imam, then the Imam would begin to rise and clean the nations from the tyrants that are ruling them, the children of Cain, the authority figures that are appointed by Satan, that Satan boasted about with Jesus during the temptation scene, where he tells Jesus that he has authority over all of the earth, basically, and he's the one who's appointing the leaders now, and all Jesus has to do is to prostrate to him and he'll appoint him as a ruler. So from there we know that all those people that are in power today, they prostrated to Satan. If they didn't prostrate to Satan, then they would never be in their position of power, and they would never have a chance to rule. And so they're all children of the devil, and they're also appointees of the devil, representatives of the devil. And Ahmed Hassan said we have to declare ourselves innocent from them and pledge allegiance to Imam al-Mahdi.
So this story of Satan not wanting to prostrate to God's chosen one really repeated itself throughout history, showing up in different shapes and forms, and it's until now where the change is about to come, where people have been woken up by this call that called out of the wilderness.
So that's now our message. Our message is that we are the only religion on the face of the planet that is recognizing and following the will of the Prophet, and the will of the Prophet was the will of God. We're the only ones on the planet that are saying you can only pledge allegiance to God and nobody else. That's the only one that you were meant to obey. We're the only ones that are saying don't be like the devil, refusing to prostrate to the messenger who comes to you saying I'm a messenger from God, and claiming the will. Don't be like that. Don't follow Nimrod. Don't follow Pharaoh. Don't be like the people who offended God in the time of Samuel by suggesting a different political system, which caused God to tell Samuel that the Israelites have rejected him as king, and not just Samuel as the ruler over them by their request to appoint a king like the rest of the nations. We take heed to the warnings that God gave Samuel when he told him to inform the Israelites that nothing good would result as from the appointment of a king of their own choice, and that this king would end up basically destroying their oppressing them and taking their money for taxes, and making their children fight in wars, and all of the negative things that we see are happening today in the world, especially in this time, as a result of following these self-appointed rulers or leaders. And Ahmed Hassan, he was a normal man who was from Basra, and he had studied to become an engineer. And before he met Imam al-Mahdi, peace be upon him, and before he had this dream, he never even knew that there was such a thing called Mahdis. And he never saw or envisioned himself one day as being a person who would lead a religious movement or would claim to be an imam or a divinely appointed person from God. All of these things he didn't claim from his own self, but rather he was commanded to by the 12th Imam, when the 12th Imam let him know that he was his successor and that he was his messenger, and gave him this divine task. And so Ahmad Hassan became placed in this between a rock and a hard place, where he either had to disbelieve in the will altogether, and disbelieve in the 12 Imams that came before the name of Ahmad in the will, or he was going to have to accept the will and accept its legitimacy and accept the concept of the supremacy of God, but he would also be forced to accept this seemingly unbelievable reality now that he has to grasp and come to terms with, and that is that his name was mentioned in the will, and that he also is a successor and representative of God, just as Muhammad was, and just like Imam Mahdi was, and just like Jesus and Moses and Abraham and Noah and all the prophets and the messengers. And so Ahmad Hassan, his dawah starts in Iraq. He calls the people towards the supremacy of God. His call becomes very popular. He speaks out against Saddam Hussein. He prophesizes, he brings forward to the people prophecies from Imam al-Mahdi that Saddam is going to fall before his fall. And the Ansar, they testify to this, that he said it to him back then, and he prophesied that this would happen the moment that Saddam Hussein, God's curse be upon him, wrote the Quran in his own impure blood. This angered God, and God sent against him, just like he punished the Israelites before by the Romans and the Babylonians. He punishes Saddam Hussein by the Americans, and he gives them success in going in and destroying Iraq and occupying it. And so Ahmad Hassan's dawah continues through the occupation, the American occupation of Iraq, and he is calling people to the supremacy of God, whereby the Marjas are calling the people towards democracy and the system of America, and calling them towards electing their own rulers. And they held the first Iraqi election on the the people went from there and began to elect the most corrupt people that have ever governed Iraq. And the Marjas begin to show hostility and issue fatwas against Ahmad Hassan, calling him a heretic, and they begin to oppress the followers of Ahmad Hassan and make false accusations against them. And they imprisoned a lot of their followers and tried to basically obliterate the movement. And they attempted to assassinate Ahmad al-Hassan and or throw him in jail. They attempted both, actually. And Ahmad Hassan manages to escape Iraq, and he gives a farewell speech to the people, which is also recorded, in which he tells them that they will not see him anymore until he appears again in the future alongside with the 12th Imam. That was his promise, and Ahmad Hassan, he disappears from the scene until the death of King Abdullah on January 23rd in 2015, you see there was this narration that the Shias had, whereby and we also did an episode about that. That's on the channel, and all of the Shia were talking about this narration. If you remember, before its fulfillment, they would all say that the Mahdi is on the doors, he's going to appear, and the reason why he's going to appear is because this narration states that from the Prophet Muhammad that whoever basically gives him glad tidings, whoever says or sees the day that King Abdullah, who's the successor of King Fahd, passes away, this ruler of Saudi Arabia, that it would be then that people would have glad tidings of the appearance of the Hujjah. And another narration identifies the Hujjah as being the Qa'im. And so it was on that date that Ahmed al-Hassan sends forward a messenger, and Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam sends forward a second messenger from him to pave the way for the appearance of the Mahdi. And this time they send forward the Qa'im, the character of the Qa'im. And the character of so Ahmed al-Hassan, he is the character of the Yamani, and his name was Ahmed al-Hassan, and his title was the Yamani, and he proclaimed himself as this character that's mentioned in the narrations as being the banner of guidance, because in the narrations of the Ahlul Bayt, it states that it is obligatory to follow the banner of the Yamani, because the banner of the Yamani is a banner of guidance. Whoever goes against it is from the people of hellfire. And now it makes sense, because Ahmed al-Hassan's banner was the banner of acknowledging the truly appointed king from God, and whoever would go against that and elect whoever they want or follow whatever authority they want would be from the people of hellfire. And going against that banner is going against Adam and Moses and Abraham and Jesus and all of the prophets and messengers. And the other character is the character of the Qa'im, and he's the one that appeared post 2015. And he also his story is the same story as Ahmed al-Hassan's, and that was that myself, Abu Sadiq Abdullah Hashim, in 2015, Ahmed al-Hassan made himself known to me, and just like it happened with him and Imam al-Mahdi, where Imam al-Mahdi appoints Ahmed al-Hassan and tells him to go forward. And before that, Ahmed al-Hassan had no knowledge of anything, nor did it ever cross his mind that he would be appointed by God or have a message or a dawah to propagate. The same thing with me. I did not know myself. It never crossed my mind that my name would be in the will of the Prophet Muhammad. I never had any sort of ambitions. It was quite the opposite. I believed that anybody who would use religion to misguide people, or anybody who would claim falsely to be appointed by God, are the most despicable of creation. But yeah, I found myself in between this rock and a hard place, whereby Ahmed al-Hassan, I had already believed in him since 2011, but I'd never met him. I didn't know him. I haven't spoken to him. I had never spoken to him, and I found that he had reached out to me and contacted me and made himself known to me, and let me know of enlightened me to my mission and my identity. And he told me that I am Abdullah, who's in the will of the Prophet Muhammad, and that my matter is like his matter, that I have to go forward and call the people towards the Mahdi. He did so to the Arab people, and that I was to do so in English to all of the other nations that don't speak Arabic, and also as an extra additional reminder to the Arab people as well. And he gave me this task from Imam al-Mahdi, And I, had the choice now either to disbelieve in Ahmed Hassan and disbelieve in the idea of the supremacy of God, and disbelieve in the will of the Prophet Muhammad, or I had to hold on tight to it, hold on tight to the appointments of the Prophet, which were those 12 Imams, and hold on tight to the appointment then of Ahmed Hassan, since he was claiming to be Ahmed in the will, and I'd already accepted this idea. But if I was going to accept that, then I also had to accept this appointment that I had now, because nobody had claimed to be Abdullah in the will except for me. And Ahmed Hassan sent me forward on the ground to be the only person in the flesh who would be calling people towards the supremacy of God, and the only one who's raising the banner of allegiance is to God, and the only one who is authorized to speak on behalf of Imam al-Mahdi, and the only one who is in contact with God's chosen representatives, and the only one who has the authority to carry out God's will on the earth, and to pave the way and call people and take their pledge of allegiance towards Imam al-Mahdi. And so that's what we're doing today. I'm calling people. We've established this channel so that I can spread the knowledge of Imam al-Mahdi, and hopefully make it clearer to the people and help them to believe through the spreading of the knowledge, by showing that nobody is more knowledgeable in the Torah than we are. Nobody's more knowledgeable in the Bible than we are. Nobody's more knowledgeable in terms of the Quran than we are. And to spread out and re-educate the people about the concept of the supremacy of God, and call them now to disbelieve in the self-appointed rulers that are from the devil that they had followed, and to let them know that they are the reason why the earth is in the state that it is in right now. And God is angry, and a punishment is about to befall the earth, just like it did in the time of Noah, and that the Qa'im and his companions are a part of that punishment that is coming down. Coronavirus was the beginnings of that punishment. The economic collapse of the world financial system, and the great hunger and suffering that's about to take place in the world is a part of that punishment. The wars that are taking place on the ground is a part of that punishment, and it will continue to increase in our lifetime until people are forced to recognize and pledge allegiance to God's chosen vicegerent.
Well, I know you since 2012, and I can just say that I know that we never had any ambitions of that kind. These things that happened with time, and how we see the channel is developing, and the knowledge that you're giving out, it speaks for itself that there's nobody in the comments that is able to give any reasonable counter arguments, nor any of the scholars came out to debate you or establish anything against that. And I think that speaks very much for itself.
Yeah, I was sent as with the mission of being a warner, and to call the people to the truth. And I expect that most people will be skeptical and reject this call and mock it, just like they did with all of the previous prophets and messengers. But nonetheless, I'm forced to, because of my faith and because of my belief in the will of the Prophet Muhammad, to put myself out there and accomplish that which God has tasked me to do. And in the beginning, in 2011, as soon as I believed in the call of Ahmed Hassan and I pledged allegiance to him, I began to call other people towards Ahmed Hassan. And I had no idea at the time that I was appointed by God, and I was just calling them towards the Imam. And my highest hopes was that I would be able to serve Imam al-Mahdi or one of his soldiers with anything, even if it was just bringing them a glass of water, or tying one of their shoes, or bringing them a soldier, or helping call towards their call. And in 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, people began to join me from all over the world. People that were my friends from many years before. They flew out to Egypt once they heard that which is where I was at the time. And they flew out there to join me because we felt like, that it could happen now at any moment. The rise of the Mahdi, the rise of the Imani, and we wanted to be a part of that, or make ourselves available for that. And so I had people that came that I knew from before. New people came from all different countries. I had people come from the UK, I had people come from Germany, I had people from Egypt, I had people from Tunisia, I had people from South America, I had people from almost every nation on the planet. They came out to Egypt, and we established this community out there. It just kind of grew, spontaneously. And then after I met Ahmed Hassan, and he let me know who I was, and I was forced to reveal myself to the people, my companions that were out there. Most of them pledged allegiance to me. A group of them disbelieved and went away, and the majority remained with me. And then we were given the task to move now from Egypt, and I left with that community, and I came to Europe, where we been traveling and moving around for all of the past years, propagating and spreading the dawah, and also at the same time our community becoming larger and larger. You see, I had the task of bringing forward Imam al-Mahdi's companions to him. Anybody who would hear my voice and would accept it and would pledge allegiance to Imam al-Mahdi through me were people that I was bringing towards to the Imam. These are from his 313. These are from his 10,000, those who remain firm on the path. And certainly people, they come and they go. And so we traveled through Germany. Many people joined us there, and then we moved towards Sweden, and our community grew even larger, and many people joined us there from all over the world. And finally, we were commanded by Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam to move towards the United Kingdom, whereby we have now a very large base and an officially registered organization and religion and movement. And we have hundreds of people that surround me now at all time, and that are part of this faith, and that have dedicated their lives towards calling people to Imam al-Mahdi. And we are working tirelessly night and day towards that call. And we feel sorry for mankind because we see that the punishment is overshadowing them. And even the rain from that punishment has begun to trickle down on mankind. And so that, in short, is a summary of what it is that we believe in. It is a summary of the history of our faith from the time of Adam all the way till modern times, and a clarification for people on what it is, who is the Imam Mahdi, and that's the 12th Imam, who are his successors, and his successors are Ahmad al-Hasan al-Yamani. He is the first of the 12 Mahdis. His second successor, the second successor of Imam al-Mahdi, is myself, your servant, Abdullah Hashim, who goes by the kunya of Abu Sadiq. And I am the Qa'im of the family of Muhammad, not through self-appointment of my own self, nor was it the result of my imagination, my ambitions, or a dream that I had, but rather it was the appointment that came to me by Imam al-Mahdi and by Ahmad al-Hasan, the Yamani, peace be upon them. And so that is that's our dawah in short, and it is obligatory for people to follow this call if they want to be close to God and be obedient to Him, and that is it.
Thank you very much for what you did for us.
Thank you so much, Nima, for believing in me and for standing by me and for giving your life towards this cause, just as I have, and thank you for being a witness to my truthfulness and being my brother and my companion throughout these years, and for standing firm with the 12th Imam, and for being an honorable human being that, just like the rest of our brothers and sisters that are there, not a single one of them seeks anything from the dunya, and we only seek to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this, we are following the will of the Prophet Muhammad. When we stand in front of God on the Day of Judgment, and God says, "Why is it that you were doing what it is that you did?" Our followers have nothing to say except that we heard that your Prophet wrote a will, and we held on to it, because we heard that it was a will that protects against misguidance. We saw and heard that the Imams from the Ahl al-Bayt said that the Mahdi would have a banner that's written in the Al-Bay'ah. And so when we saw a man that rose and raised the banner that's written in the Al-Bay'ah, we accepted it. When we saw a man who brought forward knowledge and taught us things that we never knew before, nor could we make up, and it was unlike anything else that the scholars were talking about, then we were forced to accept this knowledge is not from man, but rather it's divine. We asked you, God, to guide us, and we had faith that God does not misguide those who are sincere and those who trust in Him. And every istikhara that we made came out to show us that this call was truthful and rightful, and we stuck to our istikhara because we believed that it was a form of communication with you. We asked you to show us in dreams, and we had dreams in which we saw Rasulullah, we saw Jesus, we saw the prophets and the messengers, we saw the Imams, and they all declared that this path was a truthful and rightful one. So what else are we supposed to do after that except for to submit and to obey and to believe and to support, just like Salman did with Rasulullah and just like the disciples did with Jesus Christ. And God is a witness, and He is a witness, above me, and a witness against me if I'm lying, Him and the angels and the prophets and the messengers, that this is our story, and that before we even I even knew who Ahmad al-Hasan was, just like the Quran said about the Prophet Muhammad, that he was misguided, he was lost, and then God is the one who guided him. Did He not find you lost and He guided you? The same thing was true for me. I was totally lost looking for God, and I remember I prostrated on the ground in the middle of the night, I spoke to God from the bottom of my heart with tears flowing down my cheeks and my face, and it made the ground beneath me wet, and my hands were wet from my own tears. And I said to God, God, if the truth is that, is with Judaism, then I want to be a Jew. If the truth is with Christianity, if you are Jesus Christ, if Jesus Christ is God, then please show me and I will worship you. If Buddhism is the way and the path, show me and I'll follow it. If Sunni Islam is the right way to go, then show me and I will follow it. If Ali ibn Abi Talib is the rightful vicegerent, if Ali ibn Abi Talib is even God, like some people say that he is, then show me and I will follow it. And I'll never go back. But just show me, guide me, take me by my hand. I don't want to be misguided, please.
Whatever you look like, I will accept it.
Whatever it is that you look like, whatever it is that's the truth, that's the only thing that my heart desires. And it was right after that God showed me the path of the supremacy of God and made me aware of this claim that Imam al-Mahdi has appeared and that he sent this messenger, Ahmed al-Hassan. And from then onwards, I've dedicated my life to calling people towards God and declaring myself innocent from the evil deeds of all these people that unfortunately that are comfortably sitting by and allowing, they're claiming to be representatives of the Prophet. They're claiming to be custodians. They're claiming to be preachers that speak in the name of the Prophet and sit on his platform. Whether it's these preachers in the churches or these imams that are in the mosques or these rabbis that are in these synagogues, and the entire world is watching as thousands of innocent children are being slaughtered every single day in Gaza and in Ukraine and in Russia and in Israel and everywhere across the world. All of these atrocities are taking place. And people are fighting in the name of God falsely. They're liars. The forces behind it, these governments, these leaders, they don't even believe in God. They've sold themselves to the devil long ago. And yet, in the name of all that which is holy, they destroy all that which is holy. They push children to the front lines to fight and be killed. And we get these heartbreaking images of children that are shaking, and their faces are all bruised and bloodied up, and they're in a state of shock and terror, and crying over the bodies of their fathers and of their mothers. All in the name of a temple or a mosque or the land that's laying there. No Muslim leader that is claiming that Jerusalem is so holy for them is willing to do anything, because they're hypocrites. And of course, they don't even believe in Imam Mahdi, and they don't even believe in God Almighty. If they did believe in God and if they did believe in Jesus, and if they did believe in Muhammad, and they did believe in the prophets and the messengers, then they would know that there is something that is being desecrated that is more holy than the stones at the wall in Jerusalem or the bricks in Al-Aqsa Mosque, and that is the hearts of those little children that are the real temple that God's Spirit was meant to dwell in, and so they're anti-humanists, they're anti-humanity. They hate human beings, or else they would have stopped a long time ago. their sacrifice of human life, but because their father is the devil, and he loves sacrifices, and he loves blood, and he sacrificed Abel before, and he threw Abraham into the fire, and he sought to kill Moses, and he placed Jesus on the cross, and he sought to kill Muhammad. They seek to kill the children of Muhammad and the children of Abraham and Jesus and Moses and the children of God. So, Lanatullah upon all of those hypocrites. There's no way that we can support these people. There's no good side in any of these wars. They try to make you think, and that's what the devil's the strategy is. He always tries to make you think that God is either with Russia or he's with Ukraine. He's either with the Hamas or he's with the Jews. God's with none of these people. God's only with the person that He appoints. God's only with the person whom is a representative of His. He's only with His chosen people that choose to accept that vicegerent. He's not responsible for the actions of people who reject Him and reject His ruler and His appointment. And in this day and age now, He's sending forward His ruler, and He's bringing down a punishment upon the people so that all of this forever stops. I say this saying of mine, and I ask God for forgiveness for you and me and for the rest of those true believers on the planet. And we ask God to guide you and I and all human beings towards the truth and towards His will, and to make us firm on that, and be willing to spend our life in that which He intended it, and to finally have fulfill our purpose. And our purpose was always to give victory to God's appointed ruler, and that's how we achieve peace and prosperity. The more that we elect people and choose people, the more and more humanity is going to get darker and worse off. Thank you so much, Nima. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
And we'll meet again, inshallah, in a future episode.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.